Masashi Kishsimoto, the creator of the Naruto manga and anime series, has a brand new manga by the name of Samurai 8. Does it live up to the hype, or will it crash and burn? Well, it looks like the creator of Naruto is going to be switching out ninja for samurai in his brand new manga series, Samurai 8 Hachimaru Den. I have to be perfectly honest with you guys, I had no intention of checking out this new manga series, as even though I do like anime a lot, I tend to not read manga all that much. Maybe it's just because I prefer seeing it in motion, maybe I love the atmospheric music and voice acting, but I'm willing to give this manga a chance. One, because a lot of you recommended that I check it out, and two, because it is from the creator of Naruto. And to be perfectly honest, Naruto is one of my favorite franchises. It's not exactly perfect or anything, but Naruto is kind of like the series that got me back into anime. It's what made me start to appreciate the medium all the more. I went through this period in the early 2000s where I sort of like gave up on anime for a while, and Naruto brought me right back in. I got completely sucked into the world of that series, and I really loved Kishimoto's storytelling and art style, so I'm willing to give this brand new story a chance, which is going in a completely different direction, while at the same time still feeling kind of familiar. And there's been a lot of hype for this brand new manga. There was a preview chapter which was introducing the main character Hachimaru, and we just got our very first chapter to the series, which was one hell of an info dump. We're talking like over 70 pages of material, most of which consists of a lot of exposition and some pretty insane artwork. It is worth noting that while this is from the creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishsimoto, he's not actually the one who is going to be drawing it. He's actually just doing the story. Apparently, one of his former colleagues who helped him on the Naruto manga series, who goes by the name of Akira Okubo, is actually going to be doing the artwork for this series, and the good thing is, it looks a lot like the Naruto style, so if you really liked that, you're gonna dig it here. But it's pretty obvious that Kishimoto is going for something a little different this time. While samurai are really not all that different from ninja, the big thing about this story is that it's science fiction. It takes place in a futuristic setting. In fact, the opening chapter establishes that's in a galaxy far, far away. Insert your Star Wars joke wherever you want. And while the story might seem overly complex, especially the way that it's actually presented in the very first chapter, it's actually kind of simple in this world that they're setting up, or this galaxy as they actually call it. Apparently the main story is going to involve this mystical box which goes by the name of Pandora's Box. Not the most creative name in the world, but apparently this box is going to hold a secret or some sort of power which is going to allow these people to destroy some unknown evil. So there is this samurai who goes by the name of Daruma, who is quite literally a humanoid cat who used to be human, who's going to go around and try to find all of these keys. These keys are actually going to be distinctive characters in the show. They're eventually going to unlock the power and defeat some sort of evil big bad villain. Again, what makes all of this interesting is the backdrop, the fact that it actually takes place in a futuristic setting, and they waste no time in actually showing off a lot of that in the imagery. This is a very weird looking manga series. Not weird in a sense that the character designs are off, but actually how like the powers are displayed. That in the sense that I kind of get this like weird sort of like Star Wars Metal Gear Rising Revengeance vibe from it. Like if you were to throw all of those into a blender with just a dash of Naruto, that's basically the style that you're actually going to get from this manga series. But while we do get the backstory at the very beginning in full color, right after that it immediately shows us the main character of the series who goes by the name of Hachimaru. And Hachimaru to me is already immediately interesting because he's an underdog character, which is easy to get behind, but he's also a character who seems to be crippled and is sick. He's actually connected to all of these wiring and all this like weird technology, which is actually keeping him alive, and all thanks to his father. And Hachimaru, just like Naruto, has a dream. He wants to be a samurai, so of course he can protect his friends, as well as all of the evils that could threaten his planet, and supposedly all of the princesses that live on these various planets. Basically, it's the story of a young kid wanting to become a hero. It's King Arthur, it's Naruto, it's One Piece, it's all of that stuff basically jammed in here with a little bit of science fiction and some crazy powers. So one of the cool things about this series is that a lot of these characters are cyborgs. They basically are able to to disassemble their body in multiple ways, and they actually have these spinal columns inside of their bodies, which are known as keys. And I think that's actually kind of like what this character Daruma is actually looking for. These keys are actually the things that exist within these various people. And what's really cool about these samurai characters is that they actually have the ability to sort of combine with these like weird animal creatures, which are known as holders. They take the form of like wolves or lions, but they have this like weird sort of techno design to them, and they seem to be able to sort of move freely and morph into multiple forms. But what's really cool is these samurai actually sort of combine with them, and that actually becomes the armor on top of their body, and visually, it looks really awesome. The problem is there's just so much crap flying at you on every single page that it looks kind of jumbled and messy when you're reading it for the first time. This is something that I had to read 3 times to sort of like fully grasp everything and understand what they're going for with the art style. And the fact that there's not a lot of shading and it's mostly just simple blacks and whites makes it look kind of messy, I have to be perfectly honest, but still unique and unlike anything that I've actually ever seen before. And this first chapter is basically all about the character of Hachimaru becoming a samurai for the very first time and meeting his martial arts master Daruma, while also introducing an adversary for him. The basics of this chapter is just showing that this character is completely reliant on being hooked up to all of these machines to be kept alive, and his father is the one who's responsible for this. And while these two characters do butt heads quite a lot, the father really wants to help out Hachimaru, and even if it means doing illegal things to make that happen, and he ends up meeting with this one douchebag samurai who ends up realizing that Hachimaru's father has some sort of secret to some weapon that he wants. He ends up running into Hachimaru at the end of the chapter, and through some sort of weird MacGuffin and having a sword ripped from Hachimaru's body, suddenly he becomes a samurai for the first time, and he's actually able to walk by himself for the first time without the aid of sort of like any sort of mechanical or like futuristic technology, and it allows him to become the hero that he's always wanted to be. And he ends up having like a really cool fight with this one character who has this great moment where he combines with his animal creature and has all the armor all over his body. Visually, it looks really awesome, and of course, Hachimaru wins. He's going to be ending up joining Daruma, his cat martial arts master, as they go to try to find the other keys and unlock this weird box, and this is just a lot of information to take in the first chapter. I can honestly say that the first chapter of Samurai 8 was really jumbled and kind of all over the place, and I felt that they maybe could have made it a little shorter and maybe just waited before we actually got to the big moment where Hachimaru actually became a samurai for the very first time. As it is, it's kind of standard shonen battle manga fare. I think what really saves this is simply just the unique setting and the way that things actually look in this like weird, dilapidated, futuristic world. That and the fact that the characters feel distinctly Naruto. What I mean by like that is they seem like characters that would actually exist in that world. And I think we already saw Kishimoto kind of like experimenting with samurai a little bit in the Naruto series by giving them their very own unique look and moveset, and he's like, you know what, I bet I could do something with that, except that they put it in a futuristic setting and give it like a completely different backdrop. That alone is what I think is going to be really interesting, but as it is, this is a pretty standard coming-of-age story about a young hero who wants to be something greater than he actually is, overcoming the odds, and visually, I think it looks really good. The only thing is, I had to read it like a couple of times to really fully comprehend some of the things that were actually going on the page. It's not perfect. It's not the perfect introduction to any series, but I can already see that I think that this is going to have the potential to become maybe a big hit for Kishimoto. Or it could end up just dive bombing, I don't really know. My personal advice is, if you're a fan of the Naruto franchise, whether it be the manga or the anime, go ahead and check out the first chapter of Samurai 8. You might see something you might like the characters, which I think are honestly kind of interesting. The character of Hachimaru is very different from Naruto, but also at the same time, very similar. I also do like the character design as well. It's not exactly what I expect from like the main character of the series. The fact that he's kind of a dorky kid with glasses who ends up becoming a samurai. I think that's kind of interesting in itself. The fact that he has a cute little sidekick dog or cat, they don't really make it clear exactly what the hell this thing is in this chapter, which suddenly transforms into his very own sort of holder side weapon, which can become his armor as well, is also really intriguing. I think that's my favorite thing about Samurai 8, is just the way that these samurai transform and the overall look of them when they open up their bodies to reveal like their inner spinal column. It's just really cool looking. That's the best way to describe it. It's just intriguing in a artistic kind of sense, but overall, while the story might seem confusing, it is relatively simple. It's basically just gathering a bunch of heroes to open a special box and fight against some bad guys. But like I said, if you like Naruto, check it out. I don't know if I want to give a score to this first chapter. I just wanted to sort of give my quick thoughts about it. And I don't know if I'm going to continue too much further with the series, but I am intrigued to see where it's going to potentially be going. Like I said, I'm a fan of Naruto, so I kind of want to see what he's going to do with this brand new series, Samurai 8. If anything, I would love to see this as an anime adaptation, if only to see how the world actually looks in motion. I mean, like I said, the look of the samurai when their armor's going on their body and moving around in all these multiple directions, I have a feeling that's something that would lend itself a lot better to anime than it would to manga, but that remains to be seen. This is going to be an interesting experiment for Masashi Kishsimoto. I'm glad that he's at least doing something a little different with the whole futuristic story, but at its heart, it does still feel a lot like the Naruto franchise. So there it is. That's my thoughts on Samurai 8. If any of you guys did read the very first chapter, I'd love to get your thoughts on it and what you hope to see from this brand new franchise. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you like the brand new art style? And what do you hope to see from the potential that is Samurai 8? Let's just get a discussion going about it in the comments section. So I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down, baby.